Todd is one of the world's best golf entertainers, despite earning titles like Trick Shot of the Year on the Golf Channel and CTV Sports Play of the Year. Todd faces a personal battle with skin cancer, and that's a struggle that's shared by 1 in 3 Canadians. So Todd's here tonight to share his journey with Mohs surgery on his nose and provide some insights into how he's personally dealt with his body image during and after treatment as well. So thank you so much, Todd, for joining us and for being here. And whenever you're ready, please go ahead.
Well, hello, everyone. How are you tonight? I am a skin cancer survivor. I grew up in an era where a sunburn was viewed as no big deal. Back then, assuming you applied anything to your skin before heading outside, it was quite often with the expectation of attracting the sun, not preventing it. Growing up, to me, a sunburn was a badge of honor, an indicator of a great weekend. I loved being tanned. It made me look healthy. But who knew that my pursuit of the perfect tan was setting the stage for a lifetime of skin damage? I played every sport imaginable under the sun, from football to baseball, from the soccer and rugby pitches to the courts of the tennis. Each day was filled with the sun's ultraviolet rays, and I had really not a care in the world. I was fortunate enough to make my career out of traveling around the world playing a game that I love. As a PGA golf professional, I've spent countless hours on the golf course without much concern for sunscreen or protective clothing. I was in my element on the fairways, subjecting myself to the relentless exposure of the sun's unforgiving ultraviolet radiation. Not only was I chasing a white ball all over the world, but I was also chasing the sun. I was outside 8 to 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. When the snow fell in Canada, I would head down south. Little did I know that my love for sports growing up all contributed to compromising my health. It began with a barely noticeable, seemingly insignificant spot on my nose that I initially dismissed as a freckle. As the months and years went by, this spot underwent subtle transformations. The spot turned into a clear, pure-like blister that would sometimes bleed uncontrollably. I knew something was up and I knew something had to be done. I scheduled an appointment with my family doctor in the hopes that I would get a pat on the back and a reassurance clearer bill of health. But deep down, I knew that something was wrong and it was far more complicated. My family doctor recommended consulting a dermatologist for a more comprehensive assessment. As I walked into the dermatologist's office, a sinking feeling had already settled. There's moments in life that alter the course of our existence. For me, the moment was filled right there in the dermatologist's office. No tests were taken, no biopsy was needed. It was blatantly obvious at the first glance that I had skin cancer. Was told Mohs surgery and a perimedian forehead flap would be needed. So from there, I got home. I delved into the realms of research on the internet, exploring everything I could to find. And you wouldn't believe the deep rabbit hole that goes from the internet. Mohs surgery is a procedure where the cancerous tumor is removed layer by layer. A perimedian forehead flap is when they take skin from the forehead and pull it down while inverting it 180 degrees and attaching it to the remnants of the nose that is left after the surgery. I felt like my world had crumbled around me. The news of this invasive procedure and the challenging recovery felt like a nightmare. I couldn't escape the fact that it was not just my health at stake, but it was also my self-image. I found myself reflecting on the significance of my facial features. Our faces are our brand to each and every one of us. It is what people identify with us. I was worried that after the surgery, will I still recognize myself? Will I feel like a stranger in my own skin? These questions were not just about my physical appearance. They delved in the core of my identity and self-acceptance. With all the research that I did regarding the physical procedures, nothing could prepare me for the mental turmoil and the inner demons of the fear of the unknown. Weeks later, I found myself sitting in a chair at a skin cancer clinic on the journey to rid my face of cancer. As I sat in the chair, the dermatologist pulled out a blue marker and started to trace the outline of the cancerous growth on my nose. I then felt the marker start to mark above my eyebrow and then start moving higher and higher, tracing a line almost to the top of my forehead and back down to my eyebrow. Game was on because the surgery was there. So awakening from my surgery, the surgeries had assured me that everything went well. I couldn't help but worry, though, what would I see when the bandages came off? When the bandages did come off, my face looked so different from the one that I'd known for my entire life. The person in the mirror was a look that I was not prepared myself. The shock of the physical changes was incredibly difficult to process. A sense of fear and anxiety overcame me. How will my life change? Will I recover? And what will others think of me? The physical pain from the surgery was intense, but it was bearable. The emotional pain of confronting my altered appearance was an even greater challenge. My face was now a patchwork of scars and healing wounds. And as I continued to scrutinize my reflection, I constantly traced my fingers across the scars and realized that the person looking back at me was not the same one who had stared in the mirror with confidence before the surgery. From there, I had two choices. I could spend 4 to 6 weeks after my surgery isolated in my basement. Choosing that route, I honestly was petrified of what the dark depths of my mental state would be during this time. The second choice I had would be to leave myself completely vulnerable to the public, kind of going full Monty and reveal my true self to the world. Not only sharing my appearance, but sharing my innermost personal thoughts to the world. With choosing the second, I was determined to face the fears head on and transform this ordeal into an opportunity to become a skin cancer patient advocate and raise awareness about skin cancer and the vital importance of sun protection by detailing my journey and my thoughts and my feelings to the public. Everything was done that I did on social media. But there, I was incredibly self-conscious about my feelings. The feelings of anxiety and depression overwhelmed me. I was emotionally exhausted because even though I was worried about how I would look, I was more worried about how other people would think. Strangers would often ask what happened. People tried to be supportive, but it seemed like no one could say the right thing. The worst thing for me was to hear "you look good," because I definitely didn't feel that way. Looking in the mirror was a constant reminder of my new altered appearance, and I was mentally exhausted of putting on a public facade and showing a brave face to the public. But one thing happens is I took pictures of my face every day to document the journey, and it helped me as I was able to see the progress. When I didn't think there was a light at the end of the tunnel, and I didn't think there was progress in my healing, I would look at the previous pictures and see improvement. So as I gradually accepted my newfound identity, I realized that my battle with skin cancer had given me a newfound purpose. I embarked on a mission to educate the sports industry stakeholders, the players, and enthusiasts about the critical importance of sun safety. I know that the golf industry, it wasn't their responsibility to make me apply sunscreen or to play the game with SPF protective clothing, but I feel each sport has a responsibility to raise awareness to the vulnerability that outdoor sports participants and spectators face about UV radiation while spending countless hours playing and watching their chosen sport. I decided to share my story with honesty and vulnerability, and my aim was to urge others to take proactive measures to safeguard their skin and overall health against the relentless onslaught of UV rays. Knowing what I know now, I most likely sealed my skin cancer fate in my 20s, but the added years pursuing my career dreams only accelerated my skin's demise. But right now, honestly, going public, it has helped so many people. I've had literally over 40 golf professionals reach out to me and told me that my story has made them go to the dermatologist. And if I only change one person, that made my journey worth it. So with the work that Melanoma Canada is doing, with the support groups that they have, with the seminars that they have, know that you're not alone. I had no idea what I was going to look like. I had no idea what I was going to feel. I had no idea the emotional and mental turmoil that I was going through, but I took it and I made it into a positive. And that's literally what kept me going day in and day out when I was going down a dark hole. You're not alone out there, and there's a huge support system with Melanoma Canada.
Thank you so much, Todd, for your honesty and vulnerability and sharing your story. We're very, very grateful to have you here tonight. And there's lots of love for you in the comments here. And so thank you so much for again, sharing your experiences.